Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt man!
All right, episode 132 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Carl from Hårt Tryck in Sweden. Let's go!
Can you hear me?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So Joe is here because a painting that somebody commissioned her, and they're coming here to pick it up in about 2 hours, 3 hours. Do you want to share it? Can we see it? Yeah.
I want to see it.
Dylan wants to see it. Right here. You're gonna love it.
I bet. Joanne never lets me down.
It's a little harder than I thought.
Pick it up. I can't see it. That's awesome.
They asked me for a horse and a cowboy.
I love it.
Can you hear her?
I think I can.
Up like close to like when you can actually see it all.
Yeah, it looks really good.
And the horse.
Hell yeah. So much life in that horse.
It's Yellowstone inspired.
Kind of pissed.
Mm-hmm. It's very good, Joanne. Good job.
Somebody in the art community that already has some of my stuff contacted me and said, "Hey, I just want a painting this size of a horse and a cowboy. I don't like pink, so don't use that color. And everything else is up to you." So I got to decide everything.
Actually,
That's
you know how originally, I think it was maybe it was last episode, a couple episodes ago, I told you, or we determined she has like 100 nudes of me in stock at all times because of Kanban and all that. So they originally requested one of those, but we sold out. We sold out. And so then this was like the second choice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing? You have a joke for that?
Nope.
Mm.
It's just
All
so unbelievable that I can't even think of anything to say.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable, actually.
What?
I can't even talk. I was like, that is unbelievable, actually.
She was like, she meant to say, if you didn't hear, she said, yeah, it's really believable.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she said.
You should
All right.
stop forcing her to take pictures of you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Joanne. So how goes it? Tell me about your trip, your little getaway.
We've a staycation. Yeah, we were here the whole time. I worked.
That's not true at all.
Didn't go anywhere. Tell me about
Mhm.
yours. How was the shop?
You just fucking breezing by that shit.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't ask while I was on the trip.
Yeah, it's called vacation. I was leaving you alone.
No, you can talk to your buds when you're on
Mhm.
vacay. Yeah, you can.
Mm-hmm.
You could check in and say, hey, how are the sunsets down there?
Pretty sure I did a couple times.
Here's my phone.
Yeah.
Should we look at the? Should we go through? I mean, it's in here, or it's not,
Mhm.
and I think that it's probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Well, here, not a whole lot has changed. It snowed pretty good yesterday, and I got to use my new snowblower on the parking lot, so that's pretty rad.
Yeah, and you, I saw you made a snowman with your
I did.
daughter. Did
It was awesome.
it melt? Is it melted, or is
No.
it still there?
No, it's still there. It was perfect snowman snow. So she rolled the body balls, and I stacked them up. It was mostly her. It's great. It's a good time.
Yeah.
But that's about it, man. Not a whole lot. We got a new hire starting. She's here today. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. It's not very
Was that
exciting.
from the interview you had where there was a no-show, and then there was,
Uh-huh.
and she was one of them that showed?
She's been
Okay.
great.
Okay, what's she doing?
Front desk. So customer service, front desk stuff, phone calls, all that good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Anything different at the con?
Let's see. Anything? Yeah, I have a few things to talk about later to show you.
Okay.
So I know we did that. I've done that recently, but yeah, there's that. It's weird when you're gone for a week, and you get back and it feels so different. It's crazy. Like, just walking around the shop and seeing it again.
I'm seeing Kyle post more, getting back on the gram as far as posting taping and staging screens and stuff. It's been a while. I feel like he got off of it and now he's back on.
Maybe he has a little more time, because we've, there's a little bippage.
Right.
The Christmas bippage is happening. And so it's nice. We're just running 2 presses, and the third one's off right now because we can keep, I'd rather have it stacked up for 2 than, not enough work for 3. And so that's kind of how we're running it. And it's working out really, really nice. It's easier to manage, way easier to manage 2 presses for some reason. It's great. I love it. Maybe we should. I think that's the answer when we ask 2 presses or 10. And then we say we both have 3, which we're both idiots. Like we're fools. You were coughing, you were choking because what I said was true.
Oh, how accurate that is. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everyone around here is getting the flu, and I thought I had it a couple weeks ago. So I was like, oh, I've got immunity. And then today I developed a cough. So I can't wait to get sick.
Well, hope you're taking your magnesium because that's apparently the cure-all.
I am.
Okay.
Which is funny too, because I normally take my vitamins and all that stuff. And then this morning I totally forgot. And then I had a cough in the car and I immediately turned around, drove back home, took my vitamins, and then came to work because I was
Smart.
Like, gotta get these in.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, while I was gone, they did, there's like way more Kanban cards on, they completed the ink department.
Oh, really?
So cool. Yeah. I've got to show you maybe like in a FaceTime or something like that.
Who's in charge of that now?
Alex. So Alex is a designer here. He's been here for, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 maybe years. And he has taken on some more roles.
That's kind of aggressive for you to say it about him. He's just because he's a little chunky doesn't mean you have to tell people that he has more roles.
And he's doing a great job. And so it's really, I'm proud. I'm proud of him.
Good.
And one of the things is what I'm going to bring up here in a little bit once we're in the episode. And it's pretty dope. It's a little embarrassing, but at the same time, it's real. And you'll get to see it. I will show it to you.
All right. I'm not going to touch that one.
Yep.
Right.
You think Frank's going to be okay with that?
I hope so.
I think that he's going to probably put that on replay. Like he's going to loop it and it's going to play at the shop all the rest of
Frank helped me out this week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I got a pallet ready to go of restretches, and I called him up and I emailed him and I said, hey, bud, I've got about 80 screens here that I need restretched. He said, no problem. He coordinated the pickup and everything, and it went out the door the next day. So fucking convenient.
Frank, man, like he rules. Seriously. Yeah. Dylan at All Stars with a screen, and whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, FFFFF.
Rank.com.
Or
greatfuckingscreens.com.
1000%.
The best.
Cleaning screens is no fun, but EasyWay makes it way more funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will help you keep your screens and your shop clean. Check them out at easyway.com. EasyWay.
It's the easiest way.
For sure. Action Engineering, last week how we talked and I said I ordered some rubber. Look at this. Why is that funny? People are laughing.
Ooh, big one.
Yeah, I've never ordered this one from them before, but this is, it's a big pink one, and it's an 80. Okay. And in the past, we've ordered, we have the 6290 62s. Is that what it is?
Why'd you go so hard?
I just thought, It'd be nice to be a little harder.
Mm,
I don't have that problem, but
sure.
this doesn't make any sense. And so in the past we've gone here's what we use for white, triple duro, 6290/60.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've basically just used 70 single for everything else. And then the
Yep.
occasional triple duro for like if you want it really stiff.
Right.
This is what we're using now. You see it right there? Is it upside down? Is that right side up?
So instead of a 70, 90, 70, you're going to do an 80.
Yeah, 80
You're going to meet
baby.
in the middle.
Yeah, because one, these are less expensive when they're just single duros. They're less expensive. And two, I kind of like, that meet in the middle thing. And check this out. You know how we talked about you put it in your squeegee holder like this,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put it in your squeegee holder like this.
Mm-hmm.
So you can flip it, and then we rounded the corners on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, did you happen to see, if you're enjoying this riveting conversation that Andy's having right now about the squeegee blade, you can, this morning's conversation, was it this morning or yesterday maybe, in the screen printing category on Discord, there was a large discussion on squeegee rubber and cutting it and
Really?
rounding the corners and all that stuff.
Well, this is beautiful.
Beautiful. From Action, pre-cut, pre-rounded.
Yeah, why? I don't mess around with cutting. I don't mess around with rounding, although we have a grinder here and everything. It's just done so well.
Yeah, they are done really, really well.
So we're stoked. We switched out all of the yellows already, and we have not used any of these yet. We're getting ready to put a couple of these in, and we have not switched out these yet because, well,
Nice.
we didn't have to. We didn't have
Cool.
to, but neat,
Thanks,
right?
Action.
Thank you, Action. You know, they make all kinds of accessories that printers need. Go check them out at actionengineering.com. Level up your shop. Do yourself a favor.
For sure.
Look, do you need a kick-ass design team? Then you're going to want to go to 1-900-hotstuff.com and get in touch with Nick or Lucas
Nick Lucas.
and put your design department on cruise control. In fact, Nick will give you a ride. He's promised me to give you a ride in his bitchin' Camaro and show you his cruise
I'm
control.
kind of terrified. I'm kind of terrified to ride with Nick, to be honest.
Well, you don't like riding with anyone.
Right.
Yeah. To begin with.
I will throw up.
How do you think? Do you think he like drives that Camaro, like hot rods it or something?
You have to. You have to burn the fucking tires off.
Mm. And it's not like the
Smoke them if you
Triple
got them.
D. It's not like the Camaro, like the 69 Camaro, and it's not like the new Camaros. He's got like the Smoking the Bandit one, probably, like that one.
Mhm.
That's a Trans Am. He's got something like that, like a 90s Camaro type Camaro.
He just plays Motorin on repeat inside of it.
Yeah. What? Or maybe that wasn't the 90s. It was more like 80s. But he's got a fucking sick Camaro. It's bitching. He'll give you a ride in it.
Okay.
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 Okay. That is if you sign up today.
You have to sign up.
Otherwise, no ride for you.
Hmm.
Choosing the right emulsion for your shop is complicated, and that's why we love Chromoline. Go check them out at chromoline.com. And when you're there, there's links to like our buddy Kev's vids.
Kev's
Lot of-
Vids.
I shortened a lot of words there.
Hmm.
You got what I meant though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Kev's
Okay.
Vids.
He's also on Instagram and you can find him under the
Emulsion
Guru. Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a great guy, really.
Yeah, I got a Christmas card. I got a card from him
It's on the fridge here.
and his fam.
Hmm.
It wasn't just him, it was his whole fam. Thanks, Kev. It was fantastic. Today, Dylan, we're chatting with somebody from Sweden.
Sweden.
I knew it. Yeah. So now that you are doing an accent, a Swedish accent, how do you think you say his name? So it's Carl And I don't think it's Persson because it's Persson. That's how it's spelled. P-E-R. There's two S's. P-E-R-S-S-O-N. So do you think that the R is silent? So it's you just
Persson? I have no idea. I'm fucking butchering. I'm horrible at names.
That's pretty good. Persson, not Persson.
Just say Carl Persson.
I think you nailed it.
Right.
Good job. When he hears that, he's gonna be so happy.
Right.
But first, actually, I thought his name was Hart because on his Instagram it's Hart, and then it's Trick, like T-R-Y-C-K. So when I emailed him, the first like the booking page, I go Hart, comma like that. I addressed him. I go, hey Hart, and he emailed back. He goes, hey,
he's like, you're such a dipshit.
Oh, he's like, you idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Carl. So, yeah, that's who we're talking to.
Okay.
Oh, he's here. Sweet.
Right
you need to stretch. You need to get some air. How's your back?
Shitty. Cured. That magnesium cured me.
I'm sitting up straight because I've got to see how far I am away from this chair because I have this lumbar thing stuck in my back. Can you see it almost? No?
Mm-hmm.
It's what I'm like. Feels good. I'm ready if you are.
Yeah.
Ready? Carl, can we get this? You're going to say
heart.
He's going to be like, not my name.
Nah, dude. Oh, look at that. He's got his fucking logo ready to go.
Hell yeah. There he is.
Look at that beautiful camera. He's so much more legit than we are.
Depth of field.
Guys?
Yeah.
What's up?
Gotcha.
What's up? I'm doing good. This feels so strange, I must say. Insane. You know, because I've been listening to you guys since episode 23, when
the first 22 sucked. So, I mean, you're
yeah, because then Phil comes in from Pyre Press and like brings it up a notch. And me and Phil, we know each other a little bit. So I've been following him for a good couple of years with his shop and everything. So when he posted about Shirt Show, that was the first time I got to know about Shirt Show.
Nice.
And since that episode, I've been hooked. So it's strange sitting here because for me, it feels like I know you guys.
That's good.
Episodes.
I'm sorry about that, but it's funny too because Andy was the one who had got you booked for the show, and I had said to him, I was like, "Yeah, I was looking through his page, and it's very like Pyre Press feeling."
Oh yeah, he said.
It's funny that you brought him up immediately.
Yeah, of course. Now, Phil is a huge inspiration. I don't do 100% water-based or anything like that.
Right.
I'm hoping to get water-based soon, maybe, but maybe start, like you guys said, like starting off with white and go from there, testing it out. But from right now, it's 100% plastisol, unfortunately, I would say. But I don't really mind it that much. But, it's always nice to get both of them, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe in the both method. But do you need to, though? Like, is your clientele asking for it, or you just want to do it for yourself?
I think it's from my own sake, like to get that smoother feel kind of situation, I've been like thinking about everybody's talking about like the Stampinator and everything else to get even smoother prints. But with the machine that I'm working with, I don't even know if it's possible for me to get a Stampinator or if I should like look for something else, another type of brand, or I don't know. That was
a big discussion on the Discord the other day. Was everyone was like, why? I don't remember if it was on the Discord or our text chat, where they were talking about, it seems like everyone's selling a hothead or a rock iron right now. And someone's like, why is that? And I was like, well, I think a lot of people are switching over to like Stampinator or on pressed irons because like even me with the hothead, like I've loved the hothead. We still use it every day, but it's like certain jobs and certain materials, it pulls it out of registration.
Oh yeah.
So like if you're using more of like a spongy material, like a fleece, like a sponge fleece, Bella or something, it'll pull the print out of reg. So if you get something like the Stampinator, it's just straight down, straight back up. So there's no pull motion.
Yeah,
That's great.
we decided, because we had the hothead, and so we sold ours, but the only way we can make it work was to print, or not to print, but to use it before the print. That's the only time we ever really used it, was
just pre-ironing.
Yeah, just pre-ironing like a fleece or something. You know, we never did it after, just for that very reason you just said, is because it had the potential to move your print ever just like the slightest amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's not a problem for tees or anything. It's only for like sweatshirts and hoodies. And
I think,
well, like I said, it just depends on the material, like if it how sticky to the pallet it is, or how much adhesive you have and all that stuff. So it did have some variables. So for me, like I said, it works. It's something that we use all the time. It's just I'm in the business of being an owner and trying to get rid of variables that can cause issues. So if I can trade out the hotheads for something like a Stampinator and then have less issues, then I will do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my goal.
I was under the impression, I don't know why, that most of Europe was water-based. I didn't really know. Maybe it's from Instagram or something like that, but I just didn't think that Europe was a plastisol, if even it was available, really, you know.
I think Europe I don't know, I think it's pretty mixed, but when it comes to Sweden, where I'm from, then it's like you almost never hear anyone else talking about anything else than plastisol, actually. It's only plastisol all the time. And I don't know if it's something to do with people don't even care about it, or if they don't like want to learn how to print with water-based, if they're just lazy or whatever, or if it's just like plastisol works, I go with that. I don't know. Or it doesn't, for me. I've been working on 3 different print shops now, and now the 4th one is my own. My thought on it is like people don't care about water-based. They're just like, plastisol works. We don't want to learn about it, because I've been excited about it. Like, we should buy it in to try it out. I've heard all these things about it on podcasts and whatever. And they're just like, no, we're not going to even try it. I was like, why? Why not? I don't get it. But people say it's hard to print with, but I don't know.
I feel like it's just one of those things though. Like, I know that the people listening to this show are printers, but it's also one of those things where I just feel like plastisol always gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
Like it's not that bad. Like the customer, it's not that the customer's dumb and doesn't know any different, but there's a lot of things you can do to plastisol. There's a lot of additives you can add in. There's a lot of things you can do to get a softer print, or it's not like every plastisol print is fucking bulletproof.
No,
it's like, that's why we like to use both. Like, it really depends on the job, but it's just one of those things. Like, I feel like plastisol is so forgiving and so nice to the fact of like, oh, we can print and then stop for lunch and go back and print again. We don't have to have like a whole shop FOC machine, or we don't have to like do all these special things like you have to do with water-based all the time. But when we do a water-based job, yeah, like pay a little more attention to it, post-expose the screen, like put the R tape on the screen instead of the regular PMI tape. It's like, there's things you got to do, but like, I just feel like you should just do what works best for the customer. Like,
yeah,
if you're printing for a lot of like metal bands or whatever, like most of them we've had in our case want that old school, thicker plastisol feel.
Exactly.
So I guess it just depends on what your market is. Like, if they're not complaining, I wouldn't be in any rush. Like, yeah, if you as a printer want to grow your knowledge and base, then fuck yeah, like buy water base and try it out. But like, I wouldn't be like, I have to do this or I have to do that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for me is like, I want to learn more, and it's an area where I'm like, I haven't even tried water-based any time at all from like 12 years in the industry almost. Like, it's always plastisol, not even discharge or anything. It's always plastisol. So I was like, I want to take my wings out and see where water-based is going to take me, you know?
I think the easiest thing to get into is just to try like a discharge, just like a one color discharge. I mean, then you can kind of get your feet wet and see what works and what pressures you got to do.
Yeah.
And then just slowly add shit after that.
Because luckily with me, like, I mostly print for metal and punk and hardcore bands, and they most of the time don't really care too much about quality. Even they're just like happy to have their like band or logo or design printed on a t-shirt. They don't really care about if it's like a little bit, if it's not super smooth or anything like that. They're just excited. I mean, punk, it's a lot of like DIY feel to it. So if it's a little bit rough, then people are just, yeah, that's fine.
They're excited that they put together enough money to get an order.
Exactly.
I think that's why your Instagram looks like Phil's. I think that your customer is the same. He's doing the same, a lot of the same anyway.
Yeah.
Sort of prints.
Here in the US.
Yeah, here in the US. We are printing, I don't know if it's today, but in the next couple of days, we're printing this annual order for a lumber company, and it's hoodies, and there's a bunch of them. It's just white ink on the front and back. And I just talked to Kyle this morning, and we're making 3 white screens.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird, but lately we've noticed that just with 2, because we're trying to single stroke everything, not double. So we noticed with 2 that sometimes on fleece, it just isn't quite a dark fleece. I should qualify it. It's dark, a dark color. It just doesn't look as bright. And I know that what they're going to want is they're going to want a very durable, super white, thick print because it's a lumber company, and that's what they're giving out to their team and to some of their customers. And so we're going to go with, Dylan's looking at me like, are you fucking crazy? Yeah, we're going to go
I very much am.
PFPFP.
Why not just double stroke 2 screens or 1 screen and then a single stroke the next one?
There's a lot of details in it. Are you going to lose details? No?
Yes. Yeah, I think that. So we don't like double printing anything because
what's the difference that you're adding 3 screens? You're just adding more prints on top of it.
But you can cure it before.
You cure it before. And so instead of, double stroking on the second stroke, you're usually
tired.
You're usually smashing out a little bit, right? So just a very, very little
Too
bit.
aggressive.
So, I just think that you're coming back down on top of a print that's already there and wet, and you're going to print it again. You're better off you stay crisper if you just single stroke.
Yeah.
Stay cleaner. And so we decided we decided to single stroke 3 whites on these. 140 mesh to start it off, 158, and then I think 180, maybe 230 at the top.
Okay. I'm not knocking it. I was just wondering. Why.
I'm probably going to make an introduction to myself, but I need to ask, are you using the same white on all 3 screens?
Same ink, you mean? The same brand? Yes, same ink. Because
I've been having trouble with the dye migration like crazy. And so I'm thinking about like getting another base for my white to just like block it out somehow. I've been getting a no bleeding gray base from a label called Epta Ink, and that's not been doing it for me. But I print a lot of Gildan, and that's 50-50, so that's hard in its own. So I don't know if I should switch brand on hoodies or if I should like keep on looking to really like perfect printing on Gildan hoodies, or if I just should move on to another brand when it comes to hoodies. I don't know.
Have you tried just doing like a donut probe or something to your dryer and seeing if maybe they're just getting too hot?
What is too hot? Because I'm not really, I don't really know. Like, this is going to be the hard part for this episode because I use Celsius and you guys use Fahrenheit, right? So I have no clue. Like I mostly like put my prints at like 160 Celsius, and I have no clue what that is in Fahrenheit. Unfortunately,
so
it's okay. We don't need it. We don't need to do math.
But
well, I mean, whatever ink,
fast in the fingers.
Whatever ink you have, does it have like the sheet that says like when its actual gel and cure temp is?
I think it's 160.
Okay, so here it's 320.
Yeah, so 160 equals 320.
Okay. So, all right, so it's the same.
So what do you usually have your
I think everyone's dryer and everyone's speed is a little bit different depending on where they are geographically and like humidity and temperature in the room and all this other stuff.
Of course.
But I just didn't know if like in your dryer they're going through too slow or the heat's too high or something, because if some people like to they like to like overcompensate and make sure that it's cured. Like the worst fear you have is getting a shirt to a customer and then it washes off because it's under cured. So I didn't know if like some of your stuff is actually just getting too hot and it's actually like dye migrating a ton because it's like just so hot.
I think what Dylan's saying is that with the donut probe is that if we donut probed our dryers right now, it's different than what we have it set at. So with both of our dryers, they both run between 10 and 15 degrees hotter than what we have at the thermometer's reading it at. If that what you're trying to say? Is that what you're saying, Dylan? No?
Yeah. I just wanted, it's like I said, it depends on the dryer, but some people have shorter ones and they're like, well, I have to crank the heat because I've only got 4 feet of heat. Or if you're like ours, whatever it is, I don't even know, like 14 or 20 or something, like it has plenty of cook time.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I have a pretty small place where I'm at, so I don't have the longest, what do you call it?
Chamber.
Chamber. So it's like, I think the chamber is maybe 2 meters long only or something like that.
Okay.
Do you know meters even?
Yeah, that's what, 6 feet?
It's about a yard.
Yeah. But okay. Introduction maybe?
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
And how do you pronounce your name?
Yeah. My name is Carl.
Yeah, so no, I said it perfectly, Andy.
Yeah. And my last name is Persson, actually. Carl Persson.
Okay.
Which is strange. So. But and I've been in the industry since 2010. So it's 12 years.
Nice.
I started off like everyone else. It's always a band, you know. I started a band when I was 15 years old and I was dreaming about having merch for that band. I was designing a lot of stuff, but, you know, being 15 and not having your own income, of course, no merch ever happened. And then later on, that band got split and I didn't play in a band for a good couple of years. And then in Sweden, you go to like preschool, and that's for like from 1st grade to 9th. And then after that, what comes after that in the States? Is it the high school or is it college?
It's broken up like 4 times here. It's like,
Why do you make
when you
things
said
so
when you said
difficult?
1st to 9th, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, preschool here is before school.
Preschool is before school. Yeah, like you don't even have to go to preschool. So like
Maybe it's called
preschool is like what, like 3 years old to 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah,
and then there's 1st through 4th is in the elementary school.
Okay,
and then it's
elementary. I love
elementary school. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then middle school is 4th to 8th. And then high school is 9th through 12th.
Yeah, he totally skipped junior high, but that's cool.
I might be wrong on this as well, because it's been a long time since I talked English, so I might losing my words a little bit. But after that, high school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in high school, you actually get to like decide like what do you want to study. So I was like, okay, I want to go to media. And in media, you get to decide like 4 different paths. So you have like being like into journalism or recording videos or taking photos or graphic design. And my was graphic design. So I went for that and was focusing on that and like learning more about Illustrator and Photoshop, designing more stuff. And
you could do that in high school?
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, we don't have anything like that.
So you can like choose. There's so many different paths you can choose. You can be like, okay, I want to be a electrician and like focused for that for like 3 years.
I fucking love how other countries do school. United States, dude, for real though, like the United States fucking sucks when it comes to school. Like public school is just like, here's some shit from a textbook, sit here and learn it all the time. And then there's no more like like learn how to be a mechanic or an electrician or anything like that. We have BOCES. I don't know if Andy, is BOCES this thing all over the place? Mm-hmm. We have a thing called BOCES here where like in 9th grade, you can leave for like the second half of the day to go learn like a trade or something. Mm-hmm. But like when I went to school, that was viewed as like, this is where the dumb kids and the rednecks go.
Yeah.
Like not the people who actually wanted whatever. And in truth, I should have done that. Like I would have loved to have learned a skill, even if it wasn't something I would do as a career. Like, oh, I learned how to do wiring or something,
Yeah, it's great if you can do that, because I'm the same way. School is not for me. I can't study for shit. Like I haven't since high school. I haven't gone back to school. I'm done with that shit. I'm learning by doing. Like
right, 100%.
So I can't study for shit. So it's great that you can do it that way instead. Like go for half of the day. Like maybe people be like, yeah, he's too stupid to study, blah blah blah. But I mean, school doesn't work for everyone. Like how it's built up and everything. So, but this really worked out for me because it was an subject, or what you should call it, like graphic design, which I was really, really interested about. So I was focusing a whole lot on that. But at the same time, you get all these other subjects like math and English and all that stuff as well. But you also get like to focus on a specific subject for 3 years to become something or being interested in it. So I did that. And as I said, like I started a new band, and with that band, we're still going on, but it's not so much since COVID happened and everything. But with that band, we actually got to print merch for the first time. So I made a design and I sent it to like a print shop. I didn't even know what it was called. Like, I didn't know that it was called screen printing, that was the like term for it. Right. I was like, we need to find someone who knows something about print. I have no idea. So we found a place in the town next door, and we ordered merch, and then they forgot about it. So we called them the same day. We were going on a 4-week tour, the first tour we ever did. And we called them the same day, like, where's our merch? And they were like, fuck, we need to print them now. And we're like, okay, cool. We go there. We can help you guys out if you want to. So that was the first time that I actually like put my foot in a print shop for the first time. And immediately I fell in love with everything, like the smell, like seeing the machines going. They had 2 autos. I think it was from M&R, and like huge like conveyor dryers and everything, and like standing there and like spending a good couple of years like designing t-shirts, but not knowing how it was made.
Wait, so they said we didn't get your order done, and you said, all right, I'm coming down there and I'll print it. Like I'll help you guys out. And they said, okay.
No, I said like, if we can come there and to like speed things up to get it, because we're going to leave in like 2 hours.
I would never allow that in my shop in a million years.
Right.
You would
now,
it was me and 2 other guys from the band were like, okay, we're coming now. And we were standing like taking shirts from the dryer, just stacking them, putting them in boxes, putting them in the car, driving down to Germany for the first show. That was that evening, I think. So it was like super fast. But that was the first time that I really got into a print shop. And after that, I was done with high school. I actually applied for a job at that print shop, got working there for a short while. And at that time, I think I was mostly interested in designing stuff, actually, to sit in Illustrator, sitting in front of the computer, being that guy. And I didn't do any printing there at all at that print shop. I was doing some designs for big bands like The Sounds and whatnot. And then
when you went to apply there, were you like, I've been here before. You guys fucked up my order and I had to come down here and print it myself.
They didn't fuck it up though. It was everything was good, but
scheduling wise,
I was there for a short while, and then I got laid off when someone got back from what do you call it when they're home with their kids, parental leave.
Sure.
So when they got back, I lost my
maternity leave.
Yeah. So she got back. I lost my spot. I didn't have a job. And during this time, our hometown went through its like biggest crisis when like the big car, what do you call it? They built cars, they went bankrupt and everything got to shit. And all of a sudden, our hometown went to being like the most unemployed city in whole of Sweden for like 2 years. So it was impossible to get a job. So I was looking for print jobs or like print shop jobs because that was the only thing I wanted to work with. I didn't want to work with anything else. So I was going around being unemployed for 2 years. My mother and father got sick of me being unemployed. So they told me like, go to Norway, which is the country next door. And I went there, searched like 3 print shop jobs, got employed immediately. And I was there for 2 years.
Is there not a lot of print shops in Sweden?
I think here in Gothenburg, where I'm settled, I think it's maybe 4 or 5, I think. And all of them are at a pretty decent size. There's not many small ones at all. They're all like bigger.
Why is that, do you think? Why is there not like a lot of smaller like startup things?
I don't think it seems like in the States, when you like look at YouTube and Instagram and everything, it seems like it's almost like with you guys and like Lee Stewart and everyone, it kind of feels like you guys started a trend. Like people are really into it and they are interested in it. And there's not really anyone doing it here in like Europe or in Sweden for that matter. So I don't think the trend has started. I don't know if the trend will ever start, actually. It would be nice to see it start, I would say, because the more people being interested in screen printing, the better. But I think it's a little bit too small of a country for that to happen also. We're only 10 million here in Sweden, It's a small country. And it would be nice to see the trend start. And
it just seems like for you, it would be a really good opportunity and good market because bigger shops tend to have their own wheelhouse and like how they do things and the customers they work with. I feel like you as a smaller shop could just like go and get all the stuff that they just don't look at or the stuff that's not big enough for them to go after.
Yeah. And that's basically how it's been working for me.
That's awesome.
Actually. I was working in Norway for 2 years, and that was actually the first time that I actually started to get to printing on a machine. I actually lied to them when I applied to the job. Like, I've been at a print shop, I've been printing shirts, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to get in there to start working, printing t-shirts because I kind of swifted focus. Like, I don't want to do the designs anymore. I want to print shirts. That seems to be a whole lot of fun. So I told them, I know how to print shirts. I didn't. So I went there, learned everything for 2 years, like everything that has to do with mesh counts, printing. They had a super nice MHR machine and with like touch screen and everything. It was super fancy. And after 2 years, loving my job, hating my life because I moved to Norway, not knowing anyone. So I was like living with people that worked at like nightclubs and everything. So I was working daytime, they was working nighttime. So I never had anyone to really hang out with. So I was like only there working. And when I didn't work, I don't know what I did.
How far from home is where you were staying in Norway?
It's not that far. It's like 3 hours. So
is it the same? Do they speak the same language?
No, it's Norwegian and it's Swedish, but it's very, very similar. I mean, it's mostly like a dialect thing.
How do you know English so well? Is it a second language in school, in preschool?
Yeah, it is. And also I've been touring like crazy with the band. For one period, we did like 3 tours a year for like 4 weeks each. So we've been out a lot and like touring in Europe mostly, but also like in South America and such. So
awesome.
And also I've been hanging out on the internet a lot and listening to podcasts about
Listening to
screen
idiots
printing,
like me and Andy. Yeah.
Yeah, pick it up. So, but I'm like a little bit flimsy with the words because I'm also a little bit nervous. So I'm drinking a little bit of beer on a Monday night. So
Perfect.
But yeah, so I was there for 2 years, and then my goal was to be there for 2 years, learning how to print. And then I was like, I'm gonna do 2 years, then I'm gonna head back to Sweden because I miss my friends. I want to get back there, try to get a job at a print shop there. And then, like on the day when I hit like 2 years, they told us that they went bankrupt. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm good with that. I want to move back to Sweden anyway, so I'm fine with that. So they went bankrupt, sold all their machines and everything. I went back to Sweden, unemployed again for like 6 months maybe. And then I got a job here in Gothenburg at one of the big print shops. And I was there for 5 years until I finally started my own print shop, which is called Hårt Tryck in Swedish.
What does that mean?
It means like 3 different things in Swedish, you can say. If I'm going to translate it to English, it's like hard pressure, but it also mean like hard pressure, high pressure. In Swedish, it translates to like hårt tryck could mean like you have a lot to do. It can also mean like you print fast, or it can also mean badass print.
You like that one the best.
I like that one the best because the bands that I'm printing for are mostly like black metal bands, hardcore bands. The designs are mostly pretty badass, and that's the prints that I like to print and want to print. So with that name, you kind of like push away a lot of like commercial stuff, or what you should call it, you know.
Right.
What made you... Oh, go ahead, Dylan.
I was going to say, is that going to be your focus, like forever, is to stick in the band market because that's what you know? Or do you plan on doing something else?
I mean, if I need to do something else, I would do it. But if I can focus on printing band merch and only print band merch, that would be the dream for me.
Right.
To be like focused on that and being known for like printing good band merch and not just like, I mean, bands want to contact a print shop that knows how to print band merch and not only like contacting a print shop who does it from time to time in a situation. Like they want to, if they see an Instagram account where it's like almost only band related prints, I think they will contact you for that reason.
Yeah, for sure. I just didn't know because like that's how we started too, was all band merch. And then eventually we were like, we got a taste of stuff that wasn't band merch. And we were like, we do love our bands and we do. But the thing is with bands too, I feel like is we got let down by our heroes a couple times.
Yeah.
And that kind of made us be like, let's try some of this other stuff. And then as we kind of branched off, we were kind of like slowly started to wean off the band thing because we were getting paid finally and we weren't getting let down by our heroes. There's so many bands that we were like, we, wanted to play with and we were just into because we were in a band and we were like, fuck, I love these guys. And then you work with them and you realize they're dickheads and they don't pay their bill. And you're just like, well, that sucks.
But like, I must ask, like, what kind of genre were you like printing most for? Because you originate from hardcore as well.
Yeah, right? It was a lot of metal and hardcore bands.
Yeah, because like, I would say like Phil said in his episode, like I personally had no issues whatsoever getting paid. And like I started in May of this year with my shop, and I've done like maybe 150 orders, and one of those orders have not been paid yet. And most of the bands pay in advance, I would say.
Dylan, were you back when you first started, were you like half down, like for a deposit and then the rest when you shipped, or how did you do it? Because it sounds like it wasn't like you do it now, which is paying full.
Most of it's paying full. I just feel like some of the bands that we got involved with were, I don't know. I feel like it's a snowball of things because like back then when you're small and you're starting out, you're doing the whole pitching to people like, hey, where do you get your stuff printed? We would love to print your stuff. Give us the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And then usually what they say is like, yeah, we're working with so-and-so right now, but we don't really have the budget for new stuff. Or, hey, we're in a pinch, we're on tour and we're running low. And then we would print a bunch of stuff to help them out. And then by the time tour was over, they'd be like, well, we don't have as much money as we thought we had. So here's this. And then when we go back on the road, we'll pay the balance. But also it's like when we go back on the road, we need more merch. So it's like, I feel like I was constantly in the mode of like they're digging themselves a hole and I had to like front everything and then wait to get paid. I know that's probably not the same for everybody, but it's just like we were in that rat race of trying to do bigger and bigger bands that were on tour. And I feel like it was always like chasing money all the time. It was never like, I have a good budget, here's the money, whatever. I mean, that did happen a lot, but it was just like there's often bands where it's just like I feel like we were constantly like they would, and also too, I feel like the loyalty was never there. They'd be like, oh, we went to this other place because they were 10 cents cheaper. And it's like, well, fuck, dude, we just busted our ass to get you this or drove it hours to go to your show. And then they would leave you for someone who would do it 10 cents cheaper.
Yeah.
Or they ran their bill up so high that they were like, oh, fuck, we can't pay them. Let's go somewhere else.
Mm.
Yeah,
Did you start out with bands as well, Andy? Or
no, unless you include my bootleg days.
Yeah.
But officially, no. But I want to know, so you go to Norway,
yeah,
you come back for 5 years to Sweden. Did you know all along that you were going to have your own shop one day? Was that in the plans, or what made you start your own shop?
I mean, that was the goal, I guess, since I think the idea kind of grew when I was in Norway. Like one day I'm going to have my own shop, do my own thing. I was very much into YouTube back then. I was like, I want to make like YouTube videos about this shit, because back then I didn't know anyone else who did like YouTube videos about screen printing. Catspit was there, but didn't really do the job for me, I would say. But and then I don't know. I was always thinking like I want to build my own shop. So I'm gonna do everything what it takes to learn every single element that I need to know to run my own print shop on my own. So like I was focusing on that when I was in Norway, and I was focusing on that when I was in the next print shop here in Sweden as well. Like I want to know every single step. So I started on the floor and learning everything about the automatics and everything, or autos. And then like learning a whole lot about like screen tension and like coding screens and everything. And I mean, it took like 5 years maybe there to like be like, I know how to do this now. And I kind of really got that feel when the COVID hit and the print shop laid off almost everyone except me. So I was alone on the floor for almost a month doing everything. I had like contact with customers. I printed the films. I burned the screens, coated the screens, printed the jobs, sending them out, doing everything. And I was like, now I know I can do this. If I start my own shop, I can do this. But it wasn't the time to do it. I was actually planning on doing it a little bit before COVID hit, but luckily I didn't, because if I would, with like the customers that I have, I would be totally fucked, because bands didn't do any shows whatsoever in Sweden for 2 years. They didn't focus on merch at all. I mean, I didn't print a single band shirt for 2 years when the pandemic hit here in Sweden, when I was in that shop. But then it's a little bit strange to talk about this, because in the contract with that print shop, it's a very common thing here in Sweden. It says like, you can't start a competing business against us.
It's a non-compete. We have it too.
Yeah. And I knew about that, and my boss knew about that. But I was going to start a company for the podcast that I'm co-hosting with a friend, where we talk about video games, because we got questions about maybe getting sponsors and everything. So like, okay, if we're going to do that, we need to start our own company. And like by rule here, or by law here in Sweden, you have to tell your boss if you're going to start a side business. So I told her like, Yeah, you have to like whatever it is actually.
So you're currently, let's say you're working somewhere and it's full time. What's full time in Sweden? How many hours a week?
What is it? 60? No, maybe
we're 40.
It might be 40. I forgot since I don't work for anyone anymore. So
you're saying that if you work somewhere full time and you want to have a side hustle, no matter what that is, by law, you have to inform your current employer that you're going to go do this other thing.
I think so. If you're working 100% there, because if you work anything more than 100%, then if you come to work like the next day being like tired,
sure,
because you've done something else, then they'd be like, no, that's not fine. You're going to work here 100%. You're not allowed to work.
I see how that can apply to a lot of things. Like if you're a surgeon or if you're I don't know, a fireman, where you don't want to come to work tired. It's people's lives depend on you being not tired.
Exactly. Yeah. Because
so I get that, but I'm like in America, you're not, Dylan, that's not a law, is it? Like you don't have to tell anybody you're working.
I have so many people that do so much shit outside of work. And
yeah, same.
My thing is like, what do you do? I feel like most of my problem are I have people that play video games. So like they'll leave work, go home, eat dinner, do what they're going to do. And they play video games till like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then they come to work tired because they were up all night playing video games.
There should be a law.
Job.
There should be a law that says you have to tell your employer.
There should be a law that they have to go to bed by 9:30.
No
video games past 9:30. There you go.
Right.
I would be fucked. I would be totally fucked. But I told her like, okay, I'm gonna start. I want to start this company for the podcast. And the strange thing was because I know that we have this law where I can't start a competing business, but still, and she knows that as well. That's in the contract. But even though she told me like, yeah, that's fine. Start a company for a podcast, and in the description you can also put that you're running a print shop and you can print stuff for your friends' bands and whatnot. And you can do that in your basement or whatever, she told me. And I was like, are you serious? Really? And she only told me that. So I was like, okay, and I got excited, like, shit, maybe I can start a side hustle, having a print shop now. That would be the dream. And so I was like, I need to be smart here because she only told it to me by mouth. So I'm like sending her an email like, you know how to run a business and blah, blah, blah. Does this look fine to you, this description of the company? And she said like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, fuck yeah. And now I have it in an email.
Yeah, writing.
Sending her, she telling me like, yes, that's fine. I was like, good. So I was like contacting a lawyer to like check if I would be safe if they would say anything about it. So I showed them the emails and everything, and they would be like, yeah, you're green. You can do it. Like, they can't do anything now. They told you it's fine. Go do your thing. So I did, but I didn't tell them that I started a print shop. So I got like a place where I could stay or like have all the machines and everything. I actually found a guy. That's an interesting story as well. I found a guy who was going to retire a little bit up north in Sweden. So he was going to sell his whole shop with an auto and like a conveyor dryer and flash unit and everything for $12,000. And I was like, that's a good fucking price. I'm going to get that shit. So I contacted him, went up there, and he was like super keen that the stuff needed to get in the right hands. He didn't want to sell it to anyone. He was like, this needs to come to like be in the right hands, so someone takes care of it, makes use of it,
shit.
And knows how the fuck it works. And luckily for me, the auto he was selling was the same brand that I've been working on for 5 years at the most recent print shop. And luckily as well, in the beginning, when I started working at that print shop, we moved from one place to another. So I knew how to like take down the machines and then put them together again. So I knew like, okay, I know how his machine works and everything. So I'm pretty confident that I can disassemble it and bring it back together, and it should work. And when I went up there to get the machine, he told me get his whole print shop. He was like, you can get it for $5,000. I was like, shit, are you kidding me? So I bought his whole shop.
How did that come to be? He was cheap to begin with. And did you haggle him, or he was just...
No, nothing. I think he just saw a lot of himself in me when he first started out. I was super excited to actually finally get my own print shop and everything. And we were talking daily. I was like, how are we going to get this? How are we going to get the machines down? How are we going to disassemble it and blah, blah, blah. And we were talking and getting to know each other really well during that time, because I was actually planning to get the machines 6 months before, but then we were struck by wave 4 of COVID or something like that. So then all of a sudden we got all these laws again, you can't play in a band or you can't do shows and blah, blah, blah. So I told him okay, I need to put this on hold for a while. He held the machines for me because he really wanted me to have them. And then when I finally got them, he was like, you can have them for $5,000. It's fine with me. And he's been taking care of the machines. So they look pretty much mint, I would say.
Yeah.
They look really, really good, and they run flawlessly as well. And so I get the machines, get the place, print for 3 or 4 months before I finally tell my boss what's been going on.
Right. I have an auto now and a whole shop, not just a fucking little manual in the basement.
And how'd they take it?
The thing was, I didn't work there when I didn't do it the same, because at the same time that I bought the machine and I got a place to have it in, we actually got our second child, me and my girlfriend. So with that, I went on parental leave because my girlfriend was like, take full-time parental leave and start your own business. And then you can be away from that print shop. And I take care of the kids, and then you can make the business grow or whatever. So I told them, and at first they were fun. Sounds great. That's awesome. And then 1 week, and in my head, I was like, this is too good to be true. I don't think she really knows what's going on here, because I told her I got an auto and blah, blah, blah. And then 1 week later, she texted me again and was like, I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I'm not okay with this. I was like, okay, but now you said 2 or 3 times that it's okay and it's fine. You can't come now and tell me it's not fine.
Yeah. So the thing is, nobody here signs a non-compete. Okay. And I don't know, Dylan, are you the same way? Do you have non-competes?
I don't. I've thought about it before, but I also I don't know. I also don't. I don't know. I haven't done it. I haven't done it. How I got that way though. I left another shop without signing a non-compete, and I started my own.
Exactly. And this is why I don't have people sign it, because you know why? Because I don't want to deny anyone the right to work or the right to start a business if they really fucking want to. So if you're working here right now and you've learned how to print, if you learn how to whatever, do whatever, everything in the shop as far as I'm concerned, and you want to go for it and start your own business, then go for it and have fun. Just like when she kind of said the second time you told her, she's like, oh, fun. Because the thing is it's hard as shit. It's the hardest thing you can possibly do. Yeah. As far as career choice, there isn't anything harder than being an entrepreneur. And if you can make it work, then all the power to you. Go make it work. And even if you've worked here for 5 years or whatever it is, and you learned and you knew nothing, and then you came here and learned how to do it, and then you started your own business, I don't care. Because if you're going to take my customers, then I'm doing something wrong. Yeah. If I'm going to deny you from growing as a person, and I expect you to just always be here and not be somewhere else, then I'm a piece of shit. So I don't make you sign a non-compete. You can go do whatever you want. And I can understand why people do, because I know why you would be. Sometimes when people apply here and I had somebody send me an email the other day and it was like, hey, I have a real interest in screen printing and I want to have my own company, but I want to come learn from you. That's just like I don't know how long you're going to be here. And that's sort of a red flag, like you coming here for 6 months and then leaving, because that's not going to work. If it's for 5 years, well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I don't know, like I just don't care. Like,
I feel like it's the new school and old school way of thought. It's like me and Andy doing this podcast. People, like, we get people sometimes that are just like, why would you give away all the info? And why would you give away all the secrets and all this other stuff? And it's just like Andy said, like, it's not all the information, because all the information that we share and everything we do is fucking for free on the internet everywhere. It's not like a secret. It's just, it takes a certain kind of person to put all those things together and to like stick with it and everything else. It's like, you could be like, yeah, you could work here and be like, I want to start a screen printing business, and then go home and be like, well, fuck, I don't have any money to buy anything. And then you can tell, like, are they scrappy enough to go out and like make the money and slowly build their business and be dedicated to it and go through the hard times, all this other stuff. That's what it takes to do it. And it's like, it's a kind of person. And if you're that kind of person that it takes to do that, you're the kind of person who can't work for somebody else anyway. So you just have to do it. You know what I mean? Gordon
Ramsay could give me all of his recipes. Then that doesn't mean I can go open a restaurant and have it be successful like his, like it just doesn't work that way. And so
exactly,
I don't know. I don't care. And so I'm happy for you that you did that, and you deserve to be able to. That's why when you said it's a law or whatever, that you have to tell your employer that you're doing something else. I mean, I think that's crazy also. Like it shouldn't be, like in the US anyway, it's none of my business what anyone does when they leave here, it's none of my business. If they want to have, like, if Joanne, my wife, goes home, and she paints and she has a side business, and so she shouldn't legally have to tell me that though.
No, it was a sketchy contract. I showed it to like lawyers and everything, and they were like, if you were gonna be like, this contract basically says that you're not allowed to do anything after work, like almost anything at all. I can't like have like a YouTube channel, because you're gonna put 100% of your work time on this company.
No video games after 9:30.
No, absolutely not.
Well, technically a band is a business too. Like, if it's serious,
true.
And like the podcast that I'm having and everything. So like it was a really strange contract, which I don't really know if it's legal for them to have it like that. But we had a meeting, me and her, talking about the situation, and she was not happy about it. But I think when it comes down to it, I think she was like mostly being hurt that I've done it behind her back, not telling her anything about it, and also that she lost a good employee, I guess.
Well, I can see it from her perspective though too, because if during COVID they laid off everybody but you, obviously you were their golden goose. Like, you were the one that they were like, this is the fucking guy who's going to get us through this time because he can handle it. Like, he can do all this stuff. And for you to say, I'm leaving because I'm starting my own place, that would hurt me too. Like, regardless if we were buddies or not, or whatever, it would still suck. Like, it has nothing to do with you personally. It has to do with the stress you just put on me. You know what I mean? Now you're like, hey, you know how I'm really good at my job and I do all this awesome stuff for you. I'm not going to be here anymore, and I'm going to be doing it for myself. Yeah. Regardless if we were best friends or not, that would stress me the fuck out. So like, I can see it on her side, but it's also like, you were totally in the right. And I feel like she was just kind of like, fuck.
I think she kind of understood that as well, because it all ended up like, okay, she wanted to fire me. She couldn't, because she told me it was fine that I did what I did. And so basically she was like, okay, I want you to quit by yourself, get your 3 months, as we have here in Sweden, 3 months of quitting, but you don't have to come back. You get paid for 3 months fully, but you don't have to come back.
You're saying if you resign, you get 3 months salary.
It kind of depends on like how long. Yeah, that was happening to me. Yeah, I resigned. I got 3 months paid, but I didn't have to come back working a single hour. I got fully
Right.
paid for 3 months, and also like vacation money paid out and everything, which was a really good deal for me because
You were already
at that
working.
time I was so fucking booked at my own print shop. So if I was gonna come back, because I was gonna come back there and work there and having this as a side hustle at the same time, I wouldn't have done it with my own shop because I was so fucking booked that I was like, I can't. So I was. It was very lucky for me that what happened, and
Right.
I didn't have to come back to that print shop because it meant I could really focus on my own and just push printing jobs like crazy.
So I'm sort of stuck on the 3 months salary thing. So does the business have to pay that, or are they insured for something like that, or does the state, or it's not the state, but does Sweden, the country, pay you who pays you 3 months?
The business paid me like a normal salary every
That's crazy.
month.
That's crazy. You resigned and they paid you 3 months.
Yeah, because she didn't want me back. I think she was so annoyed at the whole situation that she didn't really want to see my face.
I see.
And also like the other employees as well. I don't really understand why they were mad at me, the other employees, because I think maybe they were just jealous about the whole situation, that I actually did it and got away from that place. And because I think they're pretty annoyed about the whole situation that I
was listening to somebody recently, and they put it like this: the life of the entrepreneur. They put it like this. They said that it's never just right. Like it'll never be perfect. There'll always be something that's going on, a problem, whether it's we pressed the wrong labels on shirts, a screen broke and messed this whatever up. We have a customer that's upset because I don't know, they want their shirts faster. There's somebody on your team that's going to be leaving or resigning, right? So there's always going to be something for me to do, and even if I'm on vacation, there's going to be a phone call or something that I have to attend to. We can never really escape it. And so I think that, for somebody to want to go do that and to take on all of that responsibility, because, you get to here, if you're working full time, it's 40 hours. And once you're gone, and that's it. Like you leave and you can go home and do whatever you want. If you own the place, it never ends. And there's always just something. And so I would say that I don't care. I don't get upset if somebody comes and puts in their 2 weeks or even says, I'm quitting tomorrow. That would be disappointing if they're just going to quit tomorrow and then all of a sudden, leaves us in a jam. I would prefer a little notice, but it doesn't really surprise me anymore. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make, is that I've really seen so much. I haven't seen it all because there's going to be something tomorrow that I've never seen before, I'm sure, that I have to figure out. But I think that's why I like it so much. And I missed it. I was gone last week. I still did some stuff, remotely, but I miss what's going to happen. Let's solve this puzzle and try and figure it out the best way. Like take my best guess at figuring something out, and it'll always be that way. So if somebody comes in here and says, "Hey, Andy, I'm starting a business. It's across the street," and here I go, then I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Like I'm not going to be mad at it, because I guess that I'll have to be better. I'm going to have to be better than you. And I would tell them it's a bad move to move across the street. Good luck. You would having better off
as an enemy across the street.
Yeah,
I think the other part of it though too is it's just the competitiveness. Like think about like sports teams. It's like he's on the team whatever that shop is, and then says, I'm going to leave and start a competing team. I feel like that's why your employees were pissed, is because it's like, well, you're leaving this tribe, you're leaving this like prideful group of people that does this thing all day, and you're going to go do it for a competing team.
Yeah, you should have Jerry Maguire'd that shit and say, who's coming with me? And then just walk, grab the fishbowl. And then you could have taken even more with you. And then she would have really been pissed.
And my boss even told me that when we had that meeting, like she was like, please don't take any one of my employees with you to your own place. But because the meeting, it was pretty toxic in the beginning, but it ended well. She was like, okay, I'm happy for you. I like the name of the business, and I've seen your stuff, and it looks great. So I'm wishing you all the best," kind of situation.
That's cool.
At the end. So we're friends today.
But get the fuck out.
I've been talking to her. I talked to her last week. I'm actually going to buy some frames from them because my old boss is very much a hoarder. So he's like just looking everywhere to like find things like print related, and like he has this mentality like it's better if I buy it, because if someone else buy it and they can make a profit of it, that's not good for me, kind of situation. So he buys like everything. He has this like basement that he's hiring. I think he has like 4 autos down there just collecting dust. Perfectly fine. Super good quality and everything, just sitting there because he don't want anyone else to have them, kind of. So, but yeah, where are we going to take it from there?
There's something I have a question for you about earlier, because it was interesting to me, because when I had my first business, I didn't ever know I was going to get into this industry. It just kind of like fell in my lap and all that stuff. And then when I got bought out and moved to Georgia to work for that other screen printing company, I just thought this was the next chapter. This is the next thing. I'm just really good at doing sales. I'll just work for them. Like I never, while I was there, had the mindset of I'm going to start upstate. I never had that mindset. I was just like, I'm working here. And then when my wife got pregnant and we decided we didn't want to live in Georgia, we wanted to move back to New York. I was just like, okay, I guess once we made that decision, that's when I was like, what am I going to do? And they had a sit down meeting with me and we're like, hey, we want to offer you this position where basically like you can keep doing what you're doing here, but remotely from New York. And like, we'll still pay you your weekly salary, all that other stuff. And then I kind of had this inkling of like, I kind of want to fucking try it for myself. Like I kind of want to go home and just start my own company. And because I know how to do the sales, I know enough about this industry to where I can do it, I think. But when you said that you were at the first place for however many years, and then you were at the next place for 5 years, but in your head, you knew I want to do my own thing. I want to start my own thing. That's super interesting to me because like, I feel like I would have had like a super thick notebook of like, this is what they're doing. This is the pressures on the press. This is the emulsion that they're using. This is like I would have been taking notes constantly being like, this is what I'm going to do. But when I was at the other place, my focus was on what I was doing. Like it was on sales. Like I didn't pay attention to the printing. I knew like from doing it and working in the shop, like, oh, this shirt is better done this way. And this is the ink we used here. And this is the colors and this works with the shirt. But there was never like the technique of screen printing. It was never like, this is how this is done. But if I would have known, I would have been like out there all the time and like, oh, how do you do this? Oh, how do you do this? And it's like, did you have that mentality when you knew you were going to start your own place of like, I'm just going to learn every part of this business? Because you said you worked in the shop, but like, did you know jack shit about sales? Did you know about SEPs? Did you know about the darkroom?
I mean, I started at the floor printing, and then 2 guys up in like the office quit at the same time. So with that, they knew that I was like a very social person. So they was like, you would probably fit up here in the office. And they knew that I knew about Illustrator and everything like that. So yeah, I was asked, but I was also forced to go up there to take care of like, having customer contact and doing all that shit. So I did that for maybe a year alone as well. Before that, they had two people up there, but I work pretty fast and effectively, I would say. So so then I learned how to like have customer contact, or what do you call it? No?
Right, customer service,
and like got contact with people and really getting a whole hang of that. But I told them like, this is not what I want to do. Right. I can learn it and I can do it, and I can do it absolutely fine, even great even. But the thing I want to do is print shirts. That's what I want to do. I don't want to have contact with customers. I want to print shirts. And so they hired 2 different people that got up there, and I had to teach them how to do the work I was doing on the office. And then I got back down on the floor again where I wanted to be. And then just like, I was the only one. Like,
so you got some
everything.
training.
I got some training, yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Because that's what's interesting here is I've had 2 people leave here and try to like start their own shop. And it was like toxic people that basically like, it was good that they left. Like I was happy that they left, and they didn't leave in intention to start their own shop. They just left here and couldn't get another job. And were like, oh, I could fucking do what Dylan's doing. Like he just fucking sits in the office and blah, blah, blah. Like I could totally have his job fucking blah, blah, blah. So that's what's funny is like all they've ever known is printing. They didn't know that there's fucking 900 other steps that happen before a shirt is printed. Yeah. Like the sale, the customer service, like making the artwork and seps and films and all this other stuff. Like they didn't know how to do any of that. And they both failed because they didn't know how to get customers in the door. They knew how to print a shirt, but that's it.
I would say I've been lucky, not lucky maybe, but since I've been playing in a band since I was 15, and since this country is the size as it is, it's pretty small. If you play punk or hardcore or metal, if you know one person, you know 10. If you know 10 person, you know 100, and so on. So pretty fast, you get to know a whole lot of people and a whole lot of bands. Right. And since I've been doing this since I was 15 and I'm 31 now, I know a hell a lot of bands. And if I don't know them, they know someone
who knows
I know in another band. So it's like when I started the company, it's kind of blew immediately. Before I started, I was like, okay, if this is not going to fly, I need to like go around chasing jobs, knock on doors, like, hi, do you need workwear or whatever? And like print that kind of job. But as soon as I got started, I haven't.
You hit the ground running. Yeah.
I haven't chased a single job. I get like emails every single fucking day since I started, and I've been printing every single fucking day since I started as well. It's crazy. I had like a goal that I was gonna make 20,000 in sales the first year, and I did that in 2 months. I think.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Something like that, and now it's almost up to like maybe 80 or 90,000 since May or something like that. So I would say awesome. It's a huge success, and I'm really grateful for people like telling their friends about the shop and like print here and whatever.
It's all just you still?
It's been only me since 2 weeks back. I get help now from a guy coming in Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for 3.5 hours each day. So I'm teaching him like now how to what do you call it? Reclaim screens mostly right now. And but also I'm gonna teach him everything. I'm gonna teach how to like put in jobs in the machine and the auto and everything, I guess.
Make him sign that non-compete.
Exactly.
It seems to me like the way into this business is you're in a band and you start a screen printing company. There's one.
Yeah.
Another one is you are at a shop and you want to do it your own, you want to do your own thing, which is what you did, which is what we just talked to Brandon at Independent. A lot of people are doing that right now. They're at a shop and they're like, hey, I just wanted my own thing. I want my own gig and to do it the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
Like I did, it was a hobby, and then somebody offered me money to do it. And I'm like, oh, I think I can make a living doing this. And so I gave it a shot. And I don't know what other ways there are. I mean, I guess you could come along and buy a screen printing shop. Then you've never even done screen printing before and you're doing it for profit, but that's not really very common. I think the 3 ways.
That's what Pete did.
Who's that?
Well, he kind of had a shop a little bit.
He was a designer. Right? Wasn't he? It's like in graphic design.
I think the biggest thing though is like you is it's like, you just need to know something. You need to have a niche market already. Because like you said, if you wouldn't have had any band, anything, you were just some dude who went at the other place, came home, stared at the wall, went to bed, did it all again the next day. Like you would have no customer base. other than like knocking on doors, which sucks. Like that's a good, fast way to just be like, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Because like the guys working at you, Dylan, that started their own shops, did they have any contact?
They had nothing.
No? Because I would be scared as fuck starting at my own print shop, like not having any customers at all.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Is it's like they knew that they could print, but they thought it was easy to just pick up the phone or email somebody and be like, I want to print your stuff. And they're like, here's all my money. It's like, that's not how it works. Like you need to know what you're talking about to the customer. It's just like you said, like if I can post on Instagram and socials, like all this band merch, bands are going to see that and be like, I should go here.
Yeah.
And it's like with anybody, like if, you know, you were specifically into something else like dance or whatever, like you would just do dance schools and dance places and all this other stuff because it's what you fucking know. Like you can go to the owner of a dance place and be like, oh, I know this and this and this. And, you know, I've done this for 10 years and I did dance and whatever. They'd be like, oh, fuck yeah. Like you're going to know exactly what it is that I want in my place because you've done it as well. So I don't know. I think that's the in. I think the in this industry is to know your market, not necessarily the technical side of it.
Still doesn't mean that you're going to be successful because that solves the marketing and that solves the, you have the skill to print and you know how to market. But then there's 898 other things, that you have to know how to do. So, I mean, that's because it's so complicated. It's
well, you figure that stuff out along the way. It's like
you do.
Me and you still learn. I still learn shit every single day. I by far don't know everything about this industry. It's like I'm just constantly fucking looking around the internet or talking to you or anybody. It's like it's never going to end.
No.
All right. I have a question.
Yeah.
Before we get to quick takes, I have a couple questions actually. Okay. The first one is, do you send proofs before you order the shirts?
I do. Yeah. Or like mock-ups, you mean?
Yeah. Do you send the mock-up before you order the shirt?
I get the design and I get how many they want to print. And then I make an order with a mock-up, send it to them, tell them like, does everything look okay? If so, tell me that. And I order the shirts. Yeah.
Dylan?
They have to approve the mock-up when they pay for the invoice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So mine's a two part. Like it's an invoice and a mock-up, and then when they pay, they're approving both. And then we order and it goes on schedule. So nothing is done until, like, we're not that shop where like we'll take your artwork and then you approve it during the process. Like it's approved. Everything that you want is done in concrete before the order even starts.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, most of our orders come in like this, whether it's email or phone, or you're here at the counter and you're like, hey, I want to order these shirts. I want to get these 100 shirts. And I want it to have, these words and then this graphic. We're like, okay, cool. And we create an invoice. We get the sizes, we create an invoice, and then they pay for it. And then the next step is
your designers are making it and getting it approved, right?
But that triggers us ordering the shirts like right then, before we ever go to art and design it, because we want to get the shirts on the way, right? Because shirts, like the supply chain issues or shipping issues, whatever it is, we want to get the shirts here. And so 90 whatever % of the time, that's fine, because
I was going to say that's difficult because they don't know what the artwork, like I might be like, I want it on black. But then once you get done with the artwork, I'm like, man, this would look way better on red.
Exactly. Yeah. So what happens? Well, no, because generally we're not, because we have it in there that says, if you change your mind on the color of the shirt, then there's restock and shipping fees in there, and they don't like that.
So you're just pissing everybody off.
You're not everyone, because it doesn't happen often.
Just the 10%.
No, it's a smaller percentage than that, but it does happen. And so that's why we had a call, like this morning, we had a call with a customer, because when we got here in the morning, he had an email to 3 of us, the designer, to me, and then to his account manager, that said, hey, well, actually it was on a separate issue. And I said, well, let's give him a call. And we're not going to even reply to the email. We're going to call him and talk to him, because it's a regular customer that we do their merch for. And so we got him on the phone and started talking. We resolved that problem was easy. And then he said, is there any way I could see the design before you guys order the shirts? Because I don't know how your process works there, So sometimes every once in a while I'll submit this order and then I want to change the shirt color and I can't. And I was wondering, is there any way around that? I say, well, yeah, there is, there is a way. It's a little bit different process. And we have that sometimes. Sometimes people come here and they say, I have an art order, just design it. Let me see what it looks like. Then order the shirts. I'll pick the, once we've confirmed the shirt color, and that's fine.
Why
and
not
I told
just
them
do
that's
all
fine
the time?
because that slows everything down because we're quicker turn. We don't, most of the time people don't have, because in that instance, it's going to be a few weeks. You know what I'm saying? Because we may go back and forth a couple of times, who knows, maybe 10 times to get their art just right. And they finally say, yeah, cool. That's the shirt color I want. Who knows? We're 5-6 days into it because they're like, we don't start designing right when they place their order that very minute. It could be a few days later. And so all of a sudden we're a week into the order and we haven't even ordered a shirt.
What's
that's a problem.
What's that thing that Lucas says with Graphic Source? It all starts with art or whatever. And it's like, that's what we say here. Like, we literally can't quote your job. We can't do anything with your order until we have the artwork.
Yeah, that's what I tell them as well. Like, people tell me, like, how much would it cost for me to print one color, blah, 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 on a black t-shirt? I was like, send me the art. Send me art and I will go.
Because even when they say it's one color, a lot of times it might not be one color. It might be like white and then like 4 different grays because they're just looking at it as it's black and white. Why do you mean it's not one color? It's like, dude, there's fucking...
And some designs, even if it's only black and white, sometimes you have to do something with it to make it printable in the first place.
Right.
If it has like, I don't know, gradients or whatever, you have to like do a little bit of, what do you call it?
Right, like half-toning
patterns and stuff like that.
But that's what I'm saying is it's like you could look at this and be like, this is actually going to look better as more of like a white and 3 grays than it is going to be with white and a shitload of halftones. It's just going to look muddy. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying is like we won't do anything until we have the full picture, mock-ups, Pantones are picked, sizes are picked, everything's like literally done. All we have to do is put it in production.
But
and then they pay for it.
Do you guys have any supplier nearby for blanks?
But a 1-day ship.
Because I'm like 30 minutes away from Gildan here in Sweden.
That's awesome.
So like, even like I order things today, I go get them tomorrow by myself. So that's,
when you say Gildan, you mean they have a
Gildan.
Gildan. They have a distributor, like a warehouse where you can just buy direct from Gildan?
Yeah, they have a distributor that sells Gildan, but it's
I see.
It's insanely large storage facility that I have. So basically, they have everything that I'm. Luckily for me, I'm almost always printing on black heavy cotton. So and they always have that.
Right, you're never
sometimes you're like, oh, I want a dark chocolate one. Then maybe it's like, okay, it's 1 week away or whatever.
So you're telling me that somebody comes in your store or contacts you online or with a phone call, whatever.
Yeah.
And they say, I really like this heather blue. And you can even, like, this is something we do is we send them the PDF of even a Gildan. You send them a PDF of the color swatches and they look on there and they say, okay, cool. Give me 10 medium, 10 large, 10 extra large of orange. Yeah. That's not an order. Like but you don't have the design done yet.
Not even close.
No, I wouldn't say that either. I would like, no, I have the order. I make the mock-up and everything with the design, and here you have the price and blah, blah, blah. When you say that's A-okay, then I order the shirts.
So you're going to do, okay, so here's where I'm confused. So you take a deposit or you take a payment because we're not going to start art for free. We're not going to give you art, and so we need money.
If they need art, we charge them for artwork first. Like they get us an invoice first just for artwork.
But wouldn't you even make a mock-up for them?
Asking me?
Yeah.
When they place an order here, their first hour of art is included in our quote.
Is mock-up included in art?
Yes, one mock-up.
Okay. Yep. I toss mock-ups out for free for everyone. Grab a mock-up. Everyone should have them. But I I'm very basic with my pricing so far. I'd be like, okay, you pay. I have a minimum of 25, and then I'd be like, okay, you pay $7 each for a t-shirt with the print included if it's a one color.
Right.
And that's the only thing I do, because that's the only thing bands care about is what they're paying for the shirt with the design on it, so they know what they can sell it to make
like an all-inclusive price. Yeah. So you're receiving most of your art. Like you're not doing any design work.
I only do my own design work for my own company.
I guess maybe that's a difference, because
that's kind of I get what you're saying, Andy. Like I fully am not knocking the way you do it at all. It's just that seems to be a heavier side of your business, is that people are coming to you without artwork.
Yeah.
Right. Mostly.
So for both of us, it's probably like 90 to 95% of my customers have artwork done and ready to go.
Yeah. For me as well.
I say ready to go as in like they have majority of it. Like it might be a fucking shitty Google image, but at least it's like, this is what they want. You know what I mean? I know what it is. I can go with it. But if we have that 5% of people that come in, they're like, I want a pony fucking with AK-47s on its side and like shooting rainbows out its ass, then I have to be like, okay, like here's an invoice for artwork. This is the freelancer you're going to go to, or I'm going to send it to. When I get the artwork back, we'll mock it up. We'll do the sizes. We'll pick the whole thing, and then the order will start. So yeah, I will send them an invoice first for artwork.
Nick,
and then when I get it back, we go.
Nick, Lucas, if either of you are listening to this, we're going to need that shirt, that design right there, the pony with the AK-47s and the rainbow out its ass. That needs to be a shirt on our store.
I'm just saying, we get shit like that all the time. We got one the other day. It was like, I want a Sasquatch on a lawnmower doing this and doing that. And it's like, we have to make it. Like, and 9 times out of 10 with those kind of people is like, it's never like, here's what I want. And then we send a sketch and they're like, oh, nailed it 100%. It's like, nope, let's tweak it 10 times. And then we get it. And then, like I said, then it's like, oh, let's try it on a gray shirt. Let's try it on a green shirt. Let's try it on a black shirt.
I don't live in that world. Like it seems like every single day somebody contacts us and says, hey, I need shirts in 10 days or whatever.
Right. I fully get it's your market though. Like that's what
there's no waiting. There's no waiting to get the design done and then order the shirts. Otherwise we're just not going to we're going to miss the deadline. You know,
yeah, most of my customers just know what my turn is, and it's just, they'll just wait for it.
Well, I was asking because I wanted to know what you did in that situation when, you know, when they want to change the shirt color. Yeah. How do you handle it? I mean, I'm sure it's happened even with your processes, you know, even though they've paid or whatever, and you've shown them proof. What happens?
We just tell them that they have to pay their stocking.
Carl, you probably don't have to. You can probably say, fine, I'll switch, because you're going to reuse a black. Well, you're going to, if they ordered black shirts, you don't really care. You're just like, fine, I'll use it on my next order. Yeah. You know what I mean, you're using mostly the same shirt. And so if you want to switch, it's not such a big deal. You don't have to ship them back anyway, or whatever.
I would say 95% of my jobs is on black, I would say.
But the other cool advantage you have though, too, is that if somebody had a wrong color, you could probably just take it back to the distro. Yeah. And just swap it out, and they're not going to charge you anything because you're just going to bring it back.
Yeah. As I plan it, I like go there once a week. I'm home with my kids on Mondays. So then I like order everything that I need to order on like Sunday. They can put everything together on Monday. And then I go and collect everything for the rest of the week on Tuesday morning.
Nice.
So I get everything then. And then I have like, I go once a week, sometimes once 2 weeks, depending on how well I have planned everything in the situation. But now I'm seeing in the down period coming to me now. I have next week, or like this week, I have booked, and then the week after that, I actually planned, so I don't have anything to do because I have a lot of stuff to do with the place that I'm hiring. I'm going to like take down a wall to make a wall for all the inks that I mixed and everything. I'm going to put up shelves. I have no shelves at all for like all the boxes from Gildan and everything, the orders that I'm going to print. So I have a lot of things to do with the shop, and I have a fairly small shop. I have a 75 square meters which would translate, I guess, to 800 square foot approximately.
Yeah, we tried this once before and
It's
failed.
not going to work out. Yeah.
But 800
sounds
square
right.
foot, it's small, right?
800 wouldn't be. Yeah, it's not a very big shop. You have an auto in there, and
I
800
have an
square feet.
auto. I have you say 6'8", right?
Mm-hmm.
Six color
Six
A
color
station.
A station.
Exactly. But I only have 5 print heads installed, and I have an M&R flash at the second place, at the second spot, I guess. And I use the auto I'm using. I don't know. I never heard anyone else on Shirt Show using this brand, but I'm using
It's a Toss.
this brand. It's a Toss, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I could tell by the tan,
By the what?
the color of it.
Oh yeah, the yellow Toss color. No,
Aren't they? I think that's Australia, right? Weren't they
it
from?
is. And
manufactured in Australia?
I've been thinking like, because there's a lot of Toss in Sweden actually, and I've been thinking, what's that all about? And then I got trouble with my machine because it was leaking in water in it from the compressor, which I was like, fuck. Not.
Do you have a chiller?
Is that like something that it cuts off the water and it drips in a little tank?
It's a dehumidifier, basically.
It's basically like an inline. Yeah, it takes the moisture out of from the compressor to the press.
I do have 2 of those on the way because it's a pretty long way from, because as my setup is right now, I have the compressor set in the dark room, and that's approximately maybe 20 meters almost away, like how the cables, or like how is all the piping or whatever you should call it is going.
Yeah, you definitely want a chiller, because if you don't, all air compressors take on water. So you're going to have to drain the air compressor all the time. And if you don't, that moisture is just in your air, and it's going to get in the press, and it's going to fuck with all your airlines and everything else and all your seals.
Fucked shit up. And with that, I actually got in contact with someone who was the person who got the contract for Toss in Sweden in like the 90s or something like that. Because I've been in contact with Toss, and their custom service has been fucking great. Because I bought this machine used, and they've been helping me with everything, and I couldn't find like plates or anything from how old it was or whatever. And I contacted them, like finding like stamps in like the metal with like what ID it had and everything. And it turned out that the machine is as old as I am. So it's from 91, as the same year I was born. Which is crazy, because this machine, it works like a fucking charm. It's so fucking good. I've never printed with anything else that works as good as this machine does. I've never printed stuff that looks.
Well, you got to take care of it then. You got to get those chillers in.
It's still.
Yeah.
I just Googled it right now, and it's still a company that manufactures autos. Like right now, I came to Toss America.
There's a Toss America. Yeah, I was going to say I saw that.
Really?
Too.
Yeah. Do you know anyone who has a Toss?
I know a couple of people that have them. There was a shop somewhat near me that had a couple of them.
Mm-hmm. But both of you are using M&R, right?
We just don't see. Yeah, we don't see them very often. I feel like it's more. I don't ever see any new ones. It's always like in a really old one.
In Sweden, I would say it's the most common press to use. Actually, sometimes you see an M&R, sometimes you see a Rock even. But it's not that common, actually. But yeah, so I use that, but I can only print 5 colors. But with the customers that I'm having, it's more than enough. It's mostly 1-2 color jobs.
Well,
works great.
What's next for you? What's next on your agenda for the company?
I would guess to actually hire someone that really. I'm having problem with getting emails back. Actually, it works, but I'm having like this auto reply where it says like, okay, I'm on my own, I'm doing this shit, it's a one-man shop. It's maybe gonna take 2 weeks sometimes for me to reply back, because I get so many mails, I have so much jobs to print, and mostly I'm on my own. But people are usually planning ahead a whole lot. So I haven't really lost that much jobs either for me being slow even. So
It would just be nice to have that handled.
yeah,
Like, especially if you want to print, I think that would be your focus for sure.
Because now when I'm getting help from this guy who came a couple of weeks ago, I can finally see if the place that I'm hiring is working for 2, maybe even 3 people to be there in the first place, because it's not big. But I think it would work a little bit longer. I have a contract for 2 years on the place that I'm renting, but maybe if things are going as fast as they are and as good as they are, then maybe I have to find a bigger place. Yeah, I think so. To get like maybe, because my bottleneck is for sure the conveyor dryer. It's too short. It moves too slowly for me to print fast, But I don't know. And on a normal day, I print like 4 jobs, so it works anyways,
Right.
And with the whole situation with me having help from this guy who came in and working with me now, it's totally financialized from the state, so I'm not paying anything for him. So he's just there helping me out, and he gets money from the state being at my place to get like
a government assistance.
Yeah, because this guy is like needs to like practice on being on a work thing.
Is he younger or something?
No, it's the same age, but it's like having autism and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But like super interested in screen printing and like really got an eye for it, and like seeing things that I wouldn't see after the conveyor dry, and like there's a spot there or whatever, it's ink there and whatever, like, so really has an eye for it. So it's working out really good. But I don't know, other than that, I would like, my personal next step would be to get even better at separating artwork, I would say. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm like Phil, he uses T-Seps, I've heard. So I've downloaded and bought T-Seps to try to learn that. But I think I just have to like sit down, watch a whole lot of videos and like really delving into it and trying it out. And
that's what I did.
Yeah. You're good at it, or?
I'm okay at it. I mean, I used to do it 100% for the company. That was what I did for the longest time. I did the sales and I did the SEPs and I did the artwork and all that stuff. And then I eventually started to push it away. So like, I don't do it much anymore. I still know how to do it, but it was just like weeding through YouTube videos of like how to do this sim process and how to do this detail and how to do this. And it's just like, I feel like most of it is just, you have to do it all the time. Like you can't just do one and be like, I figured it out, because the next artwork is going to be totally different. Like it's going to be different things you need to do and different inks and everything. It's kind of like it's definitely a skill for sure.
Is that even what you want to be doing though? Because you said earlier you want to be on press. Do you want to be fucking around with art, or because my thing is just outsource it. I'm outsourcing everything from now on. I think all of it, even the printing.
I mean, right now I'm doing everything. And I'm a little bit like, I wanna know what's going on kind of situation. I'm a little bit like that. So like, I want to have control over every single part right now. Maybe that's just because I just started out my own company.
You just want to know, you want to be knowledgeable in each part of your business.
Yeah, pretty much so. I want to know what's going on. I want to like, it's a little bit hard for me to like give away the responsibility of reclaim even, because I want it to do it. I'm doing it, and actually I'm waiting for a delivery that's coming this week to finally get a dip tank for the first time. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice.
Maybe I'm too excited about it. You guys, you
should be very excited about getting a dip tank. I remember when we got ours; it was a huge game changer.
For us too. We used a dip tank for,
we still are,
I don't know, 8 and 7, a lot of years. But recently I saw Allison from Parkway get in. She was talking to somebody. There was a debate about dip tank versus non-dip tank, and she says that they don't use a dip tank. In fact, they found it. I don't know if it's faster or more efficient, less chemical,
Allison.
something. They don't use a dip tank. Yeah, so I think that if you have, that's what's so great about it.
So they have a dip tank that they don't use, or what?
I don't think they use a dip tank at all. So I'm just saying that every shop is different. I think that I think dip tanks are great the way we ran it, because we would put 5 screens in and pull a screen out and then put another one in, and it just for us it sped it up. But there's
just
probably
so much
a way.
less chemicals in your face too, because you're not spraying things and scrubbing things, and you're just letting it sit in a tank.
Maybe she has it down. Apparently,
I'm not going to argue with Allison because she's a fucking master. So if it works for you, then whatever.
I think you'll like it. I think it's remember, I don't know what the climate is where you are. I Googled earlier when you said you were in Gothenburg or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Gothenburg.
Yeah.
There was southern Sweden, but it was on a coast.
Yeah.
What is it like? What's the temperature today?
Today I think it's like 5 or 7 minus Celsius. So what does that
mean? Don't know.
What?
Is 0 Celsius freezing? 32?
0 Celsius is freezing, yeah. So minus 5 Celsius in Fahrenheit is 23.
It's about the same as here.
Okay. Yeah.
So here's my advice: is keep the dip tank off the floor. Like get some blocks. Okay.
I've been listening to you guys for a while, so
yeah.
I got all the.
So he knows everything.
Shop hacks. Pretty much. Yeah. I applied mostly every single shop hack I can to my own shop, I would say. Yeah.
Well, that's a good tester to see if we're worth anything then. Is it working for you, or is it the tips we're giving out helpful to printers?
They sure are, I would say. Yeah.
Cool. That works 100%. For me then.
And also I would say I'm using Easy Way, of course, as my chemicals.
Fuck yeah.
But I'm using like the degreaser. It's also for like taking away ghosting, right?
701.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me at all. So do you have any tips for me?
Well, it's mostly, it's technically like stain remover and degreaser.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could just get something kind of heavier. Like it's more, you might want something specifically for haze removing.
Yeah.
If it's like a screen with heavy haze.
Because I asked my supplier, because my supplier is based in Belgium. So that's a little far off. That's the closest one.
I don't know if they have it over there, but I would look for this stuff called Pink Stuff. I mean, Easy Way probably has something you could buy from them, but we haven't had to use anything in a long time. 701s worked for us, but I think if you had a really heavy stain, there was this stuff that we used to have called Pink Stuff that you would dip the brush in and then put it on and it would take it off. So
because I asked my supplier and he was like, yeah, I don't like it either. I'm going to send you a bucket of something that my dad makes, he told me.
Oh, God.
So
just moonshine.
Probably, yeah.
Do you have any questions for us or shop hacks of your own?
My only shop hack that I would like to take up, like, it's something that took me way too long to realize that I could do. It's like, for me, my minimum is 25 pieces when it comes to t-shirts. So the majority of the time, I only use one screen for that. If I print white on black, people say that you shouldn't do that, but I don't really understand why, really.
Right.
But that's what I do. And so I'm using films. So I'm like putting the film on the palette and I'm like doing that thing to get the screen in. And so what I realized was, like, because I'm going after the registration marks, of course, that I like, why don't I just put clear tape on the back for the registration marks? So I can put it in and then it's done. I don't have to go under the screen to put tape afterwards and everything like that. I could just like put it in, see the registration marks, and then it's ready to go. I don't see why
you're just pre-taping.
Yeah, I don't see
on one color stuff.
One color stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't see. It took me like 12 years to realize that. I don't know why.
Yeah, when we had reg marks, it took us a while too, and we figured out, wait, because it's a backbreaker to get under there and put tape on. So why not save yourself the trouble and then pre-tape one color stuff? That's a good tip. I like it. It's a good hack.
It's funny that you brought that up today, because this morning I was literally debating like buying something, because I saw a video. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but recently I stumbled across a YouTube video that's like, I don't know, top 25 or top 100 tech gadgets from 2022. And it's just like shit you can buy on Amazon. And it's like a whole video going through all this stuff. And it's just like been a guilty pleasure for me lately to like watch those. And sometimes I see shit, I'm like, fuck, I kind of want that. And I like add it to my thing. There was one this morning that was somebody's number one or whatever. And it was transparent sticky notes. Mm-hmm. So like, you would put them on, like they're for people that like read books and want to highlight, where they could put a sticky note in and then highlight on the the sticky note so it wouldn't ruin the book and like all this other stuff. And I was like, you know what we used to do back when we were like not using the tri-lock and lining stuff up, or even using the tri-lock and doing registration, is Brian would always take clear tape and he would tape over the registration marks on the shirt, like print it with the registration marks, like the white. And then he would put clear tape over the registration mark. So when he did the next color, if it was out, he could just wipe off the registration mark and then print it again and see if it moved over. Yeah. I was like, fuck, we could have just used clear or transparent sticky notes instead of tape, because you could just put them on and then wipe them off. So I was like, we don't do that anymore. But I was looking at it as like, oh, I wonder if that would work for screen printers. Is just buy, because they're pretty cheap. I went on Amazon. You can buy like 500 pack for like $10. But then
kind of, don't you want it to be glue on the whole back then? Because
I think so.
Just on the top.
It's just on the top, but you'd think if you put it on there, it would stick enough to like.
I don't like it.
No,
I think you need like. I think Carl's
didn't do it. I'm just saying that like I thought of that of like that would have been cool to just have a stack of them and just peel it.
I want to buy some. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to buy them and use them for that reason. I just want some because that sounds like a neato gadget thing that you said. But I want
At the same time, I mean, registration marks should probably fit where it's glue anyways, right? You don't have that big.
I just didn't think it would, like the screen's just coming down and coming back up. It's not like it's going to rip the fucking sticky note off.
Yeah, it would.
True.
Yeah. No, it's going to rip it off. I don't like it, Dylan.
Carl, will you try it for me? So that
I don't like
can
it.
Tell Andy it works amazing.
Can you order them for me? And I will.
Yes, I'll ship them to you. I'll have it. The Amazon drop it right off at your house.
Perfect.
I think I'm pretty sure Lee Stewart and Tilly just did they were doing something where they
put a whole roll. There's a lot of people that use the whole,
because that's the way you should do it. Exactly.
Right, but I'm just saying, if you're doing it, that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that here, we would just go by the registration marks if it was in, because we would use the 3 points. So, like, if you did the registration marks and saw that there was a red registration mark slightly off to the left, we would know, okay, let's move it to the right. And then you would wipe it off and print it again. And if the registration mark was perfectly covering the white registration marks, then it was good to go. We wouldn't have to reprint the whole fucking shirt.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the design looks like. It matters if it's all on the registration marks. So we would just flash it, print it again.
It's a little bit, isn't it a problem if you move it a little bit and then print over the misprint of the same red?
We would flash it.
You would flash it. But can you flash it with tape on the registration marks?
Just tape on the registration marks. It wouldn't do much to just give
Carl, just let him have this. Okay. Let him have it. It works. I'm sure.
Order clear.
We did it for years. It was fine. I'm just saying that like there's people using whole sheets of fucking clear plastic and throwing it in the garbage. It's like we use tiny little pieces of tape.
That's smart.
I saw the video of Lee Stewart and Tilly doing that, and I was like, that's a lot of waste, man.
Right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, to me, it's like a whole sheet of plastic. You're just like constant. Every job is like a whole sheet, and it's just like
right.
I agree. Yeah.
I've seen John McGee did a video long ago, like years ago. Union Ink John McGee showing that same process, but he used less, and so I think that. You're right. I think there's probably a good balance in there to be had, So anyway,
I usually just take like clear tape and put it at the bottom and top.
If you're listening to this episode at this point, leave a comment on YouTube of how you do it so that we can see what's the proper way.
Please do.
And like the video as well and all that other bullshit.
Smash the like button and
smash that like button. Yeah. Do you have any more questions for us or anything, or do you want to do quick takes?
The only thing I would think, like, is there anything I should think about getting the dip tank? Because I'm not that,
What dip tank did you get?
Easy way dip tank as well.
Is it the tall, like vertical one? Or is it more like wide and short?
It's blue, which I don't like. I don't like the black one. They look way
I don't
better.
know if I've seen a blue one.
Maybe it's not even Eastway. It said Eastway on.
Isn't that funny? That how we like, I'm the same way, and I want my shit to be a certain color. I don't. Sometimes I won't order a piece of equipment or something because it's just a stupid color. Isn't that weird?
Like in my shop, I have the toss. It's yellow and like beige. And then I have like my conveyor dryer. It's also like beige, but it's also like wine red as well. On like the doors that you can take up and down in the beginning and the end. So it's like, it's going to be it's going to look like a fucking circus in there. It's not.
We do the same thing. Like we bought the baskets from the end of the dryer are blue, and like hand carts and stuff are like either blue or red, or like
but you're the blue
a neutral
crew,
color.
so of course.
Right. I'm just saying that like you kind of get stuff like that. I don't like when people go crazy and like paint the room to match. Like there was a lot of people in the beginning when they got rocks, they painted like their walls green and like everything green, and it's just like, dude,
yeah,
it's a lot of green.
That's a lot of green. But is there anything I should think about getting the dip?
The only thing I would say, and we just recently did this, and I'm still like baiting it if I like it or not, is we put in a thing to hold the screens down. Yeah. So for years we just took the lid off, put the screens in, and we used like cleaned out emulsion tubs, like a gallon tub we've like filled with water, and we would set it on the screen so they would stay submerged. Yeah. They make them too where they have these like vinyl rods that'll go through and hold them down.
I think that's slower though.
Yeah, you have to like take them out and slide them in. That's why this thing I just had is we put like a bolt on one side and a bar, and then there's a handle on it, so I can just literally do like back and forth, and it holds the screens down.
Okay, yeah, because nowadays they have that, right? Some
might have that. I know, like, I don't know if it's Easy Way or someone else has one where it's just like a vinyl bar, same concept.
Yeah,
it's just I just made our own because these were tanks that we had for a long time. The other thing I would recommend if you're using a dip tank is to get those metal frames that go on the outside of the tank in the middle to keep it from bowing out.
Okay.
Because after a long period of time, your tank will start to look pregnant.
Yeah.
Because it's holding so much water or so much liquid. So if you can get that frame now, it'll keep it all held in, and it won't you won't come into your shop one day and there's fucking shit all over the floor because it exploded.
I have to build my own, I guess, because I didn't see that on the page.
Easy Way sells them. I got 2 of them from Alex. I mean, I don't know how they're shipping it to you over there, if they have a thing over there that you're getting it or what, but you could always hit up Alex and he'll see what he can get for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is that, and you may already know this, but if if it starts getting weak, I guess you're using Supra in there. If it starts getting weak, you just dose it. And you can, because some will evaporate, and then also the concentration gets a little weak, and you can dose it to make it last.
I feel like we get another
have to change it.
Yeah,
we go pretty long on a 5 of Supra, but when it starts to die out, just like Andy said, we add like whatever it is, a little bottle of it, and it lasts us about another month or so, and then we'll change out the whole thing.
Yeah, I heard like it's gonna make you being able to reclaim like 750 screens or something like that. So
as far as like per tank,
yeah,
I would say more.
I feel like it'd be way more than that.
More.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would probably be fine for a whole year, I guess.
You would be good for a long time. I would be surprised if it was, I think it would be like 6 months or something.
I'm just excited for to speed up the process and to.
I think we're on 3 months.
3 months, yeah.
Yeah, but you do, hundreds and hundreds a week. So, I think the 750 is way low. You're going to get way more than that. It's going to yield thousands.
Sounds good. Because now when like have it in a spray bottle and spray it on and scrub it, It
sucks.
You wash so much away down the drain.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because
I
now
agree.
the way I think it works is like you put it down and then you like take it up and let it drip
Let it
back a little
drip.
bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Other than that, I was thinking like I don't use a RIP software. I like
We didn't either.
I just like print my files directly from Illustrator,
Yep.
and that works. It works fine, but every time I have to like print a file, I'm using an Epson P700, which I heard a lot of people use that have a small shops. And the thing I have to do every time I print something is that I have to go into the document of the Illustrator, copy the height of the document, and always take that and put it in settings on the printer every single time.
We never printed from Illustrator. We always manually did our own halftones from Photoshop.
Okay.
So we printed everything Photoshop, and we did that for years until the only time we ever got a RIP was when we had our CTS.
Okay.
So the whole time doing film, we had no RIP software. We printed directly from Photoshop, and it was totally fine all those years.
So I don't have to think about RIP then.
I mean, you can if you want. I'm sure there's benefits. I'm sure there's people listening to this right now. Like, you
But
fucking
what
moron.
are the
You should be using it.
benefits?
Exactly. Like, I had no issues. We did a ton of sim process jobs. We did all this halftone work, and we never had issues. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, I think you're fine. And I know other people who didn't use a RIP either. So technically a RIP is just, telling the printer how to print them. But we were doing all the stuff manually. So it just, I don't know, seemed fine.
Okay.
So I might be totally wrong, but it worked. It worked for us for forever. So
yeah. Cool. Other than that, I don't think I have any questions. Where do you guys think I should take my next step? I'm going to focus on
I think the
screen
front office.
printing. The front office? Yeah.
I think getting someone in the front so you can print in the back is the best way to go.
So someone that's taking care of my emails and
Yes. So you can just walk in and know production, and even if you're spreading yourself out in all of production, it's better than doing half there and half with emails. I think making customers wait, especially in this day and age of everything being super fast with Amazon and all this other stuff, it's so much better to have somebody who's just on it and getting back to your customers and everything else.
Yeah.
They might be cool with waiting, but they're not going to be cool with waiting for forever. Or next time they come back and they're like, fuck, I got to wait for this guy again.
Exactly. And that I think it was the same. It was the same for Modest Merch, I guess.
Yeah, he's by himself too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of in the same situation.
Yeah.
Other
And
than that, I don't think it's really anything else I'm wondering about right now. I don't think. No.
All right, good. Andy, you want to do some quick takes?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Excited.
All right. I got a couple special ones in here for you.
Mm-hmm.
New ones, but this first one isn't. Sunrise or sunset?
I'm both a morning person and a night person, I would say. I sleep very little. So I see them both, kind of. But which one do I like the most? I would probably say sunset, I would probably say. Like, because the sunrise, I only see when I'm working, and the sunset I'm seeing when I'm not working.
Right,
usually.
when you're relaxing.
Yeah. So relaxing time is a better time, I would say.
Any good movies or shows or books you're into right now?
I just finished watching The Watcher.
Andy was watching that.
Yeah.
Weren't you watching The Watcher? I thought that was something you were watching.
Somebody else. I just finished Wednesday,
Yeah.
which rocks. Like, that fucking is awesome.
My daughter, I think,
know.
has watched it 4 times through already.
I don't blame her. I might watch it 4 times.
Which one? The Watcher?
No, Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, yeah. I heard a lot about it, but I don't watch that much series or movies for that. I only watch if I'm watching with my girlfriend. But so mostly I'm spending my times playing video games. And
What games are you playing?
as of right now, I'm trying to get through God of War Ragnarok. But it's insanely good, and I'm playing it on the PlayStation 5. but it's such a fucking long game. I haven't heard anyone finishing the story in like under 35 to 40 hours. And I'm playing it for 12 now, so I'm not even halfway through. So,
well, that's like a good and bad though, because a lot of people complain about when they just burn through a game, like through the campaign in like hours, and they're like, well, that's cool, it's done and over with.
It's an insane that's a topic, like the content of the game compared to like what it costs to buy situation. What is it, like $60-$70 for a video game right now? So, but this is it's insane how much content they put in this game. That's
awesome.
It's worth the money. And
what's your go-to game of just like, I'm going to play this because I want to just do this now and whatever? Or are you just going like game to game to game?
I'm going game to game to game, because with the podcast that I'm doing, talking about video games, we want to like go through, and every single year we have our own kind of like game of the year special. We were like handing out awards to different categories of video games. So I'm like, try to go through as many games as I can through a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going through, I don't really have time to have one game that I'm like going back to. I'm not a competitive person. I don't play a lot of COD. I don't play Dota or anything like that. So I'm going from game to game. But right now it's God of War Ragnarok and also the Callisto Protocol that I'm trying to get through.
I saw that. I wondered if that was any good.
I only started up, played like 1 hour, and it seems great. It's the same director as Dead Space. So
yeah, I figured that would be pretty good. How much are you playing a day?
As of right now, not that much. I have 2 kids at home.
Well, I just wondered with the kids and business if you actually have time to like dedicate to it.
I have 1 day a week where I'm dedicating playing video games, and it's on Thursdays. So that's my like night where I'm like, this is video game night. But most of the time it's like, I'm just gonna answer these emails first, and then I have like 1 hour maybe tops to play. But
yeah,
so no, it's not much right now. It's like when not since I started the print shop.
I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty, but it's for me, we play a lot of Call of Duty and we play a lot of Gears of War. But for me, it's like my way to just wind down and kill some shit without having to think too hard about it.
Yeah.
And then in between matches, I can like look at my phone or like respond to somebody and then just like shoot some shit. And then
which Gears?
We play a lot of 4 and 5.
Okay.
3 was our favorite.
Yeah, 3rd is the fucking best.
Yeah.
Are you playing anything, Andy?
Skin Flute. That's about it.
Okay.
Skin Flute, the 3rd one's so good. Yeah, I love it.
But never video games ever?
Oh yeah, totally.
No.
Okay.
That's a no.
That's a yes.
Really? Which was the last video game you played?
You want to know maybe the first?
Okay.
Space Invaders.
Atari.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was really fantastic at the Space Invaders. I went to a tournament for Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you memorize the patterns because I was an 80s kid. So that was a long time ago. But I also had PlayStation because I bought it for my kid. I got a Nintendo. We played. Did you ever play James Bond? Like GoldenEye?
007, yeah.
Yeah, like we had that game on the 64 and we played it nonstop. It was really fun. So I played video games, man. Come on.
Oh yeah, okay.
Slaps only. All right. All right, Andy, you got the next question.
Carl, what's the best thing about living in Sweden?
Maybe we have fucking great candy over here, I would say. The chocolate is fucking amazing. And
meatballs.
You know what?
Swedish meatballs.
You're gonna hate me for this. I know you guys don't like vegetarians or vegans on this show, right?
And you're a vegan?
I'm a vegetarian, and I'm
not against it.
I was 15. But we have really fucking good, like, what do you say? Vegan or vegetarian
plant-based,
alternatives.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. we actually, what's that called? Wait, I'm gonna check because we ordered meat today. Fillet of beef.
You mean it's real?
That?
Yeah, filet.
Filet. We ordered like that's made in a lab today.
Oh, like the plant-based meats
that we're gonna have for New Year's Eve, and we saw like some
like the what's it called, the
Impossible Burger.
Yeah, Impossible Burger, stuff like that.
But this is gonna be even worse, kind of. It looks like meat. It acts like meat. It's like thick as well. It's like this, and it was crazy expensive as well. So we're gonna have that for New Year's Eve, actually. So we're gonna bring it to my brother's house. He's vegan, actually. So that's going to be an interesting experience. We'll actually like it's vegan meat, but it actually drips of blood.
Right.
It's strange.
Well, if it's no good, then you just throw some steak sauce on it or something.
Yeah, it's going to taste amazing, I guess. So, but what was the question? The best thing about Sweden? IKEA is Swedish, yeah, of course. They're next to my shop as well.
Really?
They have really, really good tables with wheels on them for stacking shirts. Actually,
nice. You guys just put everything together over there
together on
IKEA style, or you have to put everything together.
We put everything together, man. We're pros at that shit. We invented that shit.
Right, I know. That's what I'm saying.
It's fucking great. But other than that, I mean, Sweden. It's dark and cold country most of the year, I would say, since we're pretty north. So, but that's great as well. That means that I can stay inside playing video games half
for
of the
6
year.
months.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
I get it. Let's see here. What's something random that brings you joy?
I've been thinking about this because I've heard this question so many times. But I mean, isn't it always when someone just like falls and hit themselves?
Yes.
Right.
The answer is yes.
You see someone like cycling or something and they hit like a sign or right in the head.
Me and Brian and Chris we share them constantly. It's always mountain biking, and none of us mountain bike, but like they have the best fucking crashes.
Oh yeah.
Like jumping through the woods and just missing the trail completely and just shoulder hits a tree like at like 50 miles an hour. It's just the craziest, gnarliest crashes all the time.
I fucking love it. It's the best.
Okay.
As long as not people like, you know, what's it called, the Instagram account, like Wall of Meat or something, where it's like skateboard crashes and people like really like rips their fucking foot off and that sucks. I can't watch that shit. I could watch that when I was like 16, 17, but then like empathy and everything kind of came to
comes
me
into place.
I can't see that shit anymore. But if people hurt themselves mildly, that's fun.
Mild pain, right?
Mild pain is fun.
Okay. Andy, finish it off.
I'm going to try and get this right. What is for middag?
Middag. We already ate. We ate since it's
what time is it there?
22 p.m. right now. 10 p.m.
10.
10. It's 10. So we ate vegetarian lasagna today. It was great.
Well, that sounds pretty good. Yeah.
We made it in a pressure cooker even.
Really? I've never heard of that.
Never heard of a pressure cooker?
I've heard of a pressure cooker, but I've never heard of someone making lasagna in a pressure cooker.
We make a lot of stuff in a pressure cooker because it keeps the taste in a whole different way than if you're just like frying it in the pan, I guess. Just like push it inside
like pressure.
Yeah, right in there. So fucking love it. Awesome. It's great. And I make fucking yogurt and shit in that thing. It's great.
I'll have to try it.
More pressure cooker for the people.
I guess so. Yeah.
What are you having, Dylan?
Fuck, I don't even know. Probably make myself a sandwich. It's going to be lame, probably. Something lame.
I had a sandwich for lunch.
That's nice. I had a meatball sub for lunch.
A Swedish meatball sub?
It was not Swedish. It was Italian.
I even if it's called Swedish meatballs, I guess it's not even close to what Swedish meatballs
Probably not,
even
yeah.
is.
Probably
Is it like sauce? Is it like Swedish meatball? Is it sauce on it?
Yeah, it's like a brown gravy on meatballs.
Okay. Yeah, that's usually what we have, actually.
But I'm sure it's not the same. I'm sure
mashed
it's
potatoes?
bastardized. Yeah,
Sounds good. Delicious.
it does sound good.
I eat it like once a week. It's fucking great.
But vegetarian style.
Yeah. But it's great. We have some good protein vegetarian stuff here, so it's great. It's
Nice.
great.
Well, thanks for coming on, dude. We really appreciate it. This was great.
For having me. Was this like a premiere or something for having someone in Europe on?
From Sweden.
From Sweden?
From Sweden, yeah.
You're the
That's
first
the first.
Swede.
Fuck yeah.
We
Hell yeah.
had let's see, we had Danny from Flippin' Sweet from the UK. We had from Denmark. I can never say their name right.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna butcher that horribly.
How would you pronounce?
They were like our
How would you pronounce this?
What
your thing?
Yeah,
Dude, I'm not doing that.
the shop name. What would you say?
How do I
the Witch?
say
You
it?
talking about his place?
Yeah.
Yeah, my print shop name.
I would have said Hårt Tryck.
That's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Hårt Tryck.
Hårt? Is that what that little thing above the A is?
Yeah,
It makes it like an O sounding?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that means. So
No, but thanks for having me. I hope
yeah, dude.
You bring in a lot of more European guests in the future, because there's a lot of really talented European shops out there that I'm following. So I hope being here, being not that good at English.
dude, you're
maybe-
fucking miles above what I thought it was going to be. So
Really?
I'm so happy. I'm going to say this out loud because I don't care, because I mean well, but I have the worst time. Like I can't watch shows with people have hard accents because I can't understand it and I can't follow it. So
Yeah.
like I literally called Andy before we did this episode. I was like, please tell me this dude speaks good English, because I am fucked if he doesn't.
I hope I did a good.
You did phenomenal. So
Thank you,
I'll
man.
be totally honest with you. It was amazing. This was a really fun episode. You were great. Thank you for doing this with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Hell yeah. Thanks, dude. Have a good day.
Thank you, man.
See you later.
See ya.